Hello, this is the AO1 for self-defense. Okay, first of all, self-defense is a full defense. This means it leads to a complete acquittal. The burden of proof is on the prosecution to show beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was not acting under self-defense. Now, the next point is that the term self-defense, is a little bit misleading. You can use force to defend yourself, or you can use force to defend others or for the prevention of crime. The law on self-defense comes from a variety of sources. So first of all, common law made by judges. Secondly, Section 3 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, and this says a person may use such force as is reasonable in the circumstances in the prevention of crime. So common law, Criminal Law Act 1967. Also, we have the Criminal Justice and Immigration Act 2008, which we will come on to, and also the Crime and Courts Act 2013. So 4 different things to remember. Common Law, Criminal Law Act, Criminal Justice and Immigration Act, and the Crime and Courts Act. Okay. First major issue is how much force can be used? Well, Section 76 of the Criminal Justice and Immigration Act 2008 says reasonable force may be used. There is an issue, what is reasonable force? In Hussein, where they beat up the burglar with a cricket bat and gave him severe brain damage, that was excessive force, not self-defense. In Clegg, the danger had already passed. You cannot use self-defense if the danger has passed. And in Martin, Tony Martin, the Norfolk farmer, 2 issues really. 1, the danger had passed because they were running away, and 2, excessive force. So just remember, you can only use reasonable force in the circumstances, and the danger must not have passed. The next issue is, can you preempt an attack, or do you have to wait to be attacked? Well, the answer is yes, you can preempt an attack. The Attorney General reference case said you can even make preparations for this, and the case of Bird said you do not need to show that you could have retreated. The next issue is to do with householders. So first of all, who is deemed to be a householder? Well, it has to be a dwelling, so you have to be in a dwelling. You, the defendant, the person who uses self-defense, must not be a trespasser, and you must honestly believe that the person about to attack you is a trespasser. Now, Section 43 of the Crime and Courts Act 2013 says that householders can use more force. They can actually use up to grossly disproportionate force. So the case of Collins is saying that we can allow more discretion for householders. We can judge them in the circumstances in which they find themselves. So householders are often going to be more fearful. They're in their own home, and that is why we allow them to use up to grossly disproportionate force. The next point, what if the defendant makes an honest mistake about needing to use self-defense? That is okay. Gladstone Williams said that if you make an honest mistake about the need to use self-defense, then you can still have a full defense. Just remember, though, that if you are intoxicated when you make the mistake about self-defense, you cannot have the defense. So Lippmann took LSD, thought his girlfriend was a snake, and strangled her to death. That is not an intoxicated mistake about self-defense. He was voluntarily intoxicated, so we're not going to give him a defense. And then the final point is that it's not appropriate to look at the defendant's psychiatric condition. So when looking at did the defendant act reasonably in the circumstances? If the defendant, for example, is a paranoid schizophrenic or has a personality disorder like Martin, then we discount that. Possibly a bit unfair. So the case of Cairns and the case of Martin said it's not appropriate to look at the psychiatric condition. So that is self-defense AO1. Watch the AO3 video for help on an essay.